Alright, let's take a look at my simple router table I was able to build over the weekend. A project I've been meaning to get to for a very long time. I actually bought this router 2 years ago and just fired it up this weekend. The top is a lamination of 1/4 inch and 3/4 inch MDF, and I'll get to the reason for that lamination a little later. I finished it with 3 coats of Bullseye Seal Coat sanding sealer, which is just a really thin, probably a 1 pound, maybe even less, cut of wax-free shellac. Looks like it'll hold up nicely. Nice and slick. I'm not sure how this lamination is going to affect moisture absorption and bowing in the future, but it shouldn't be too bad. I've got these MDF stretchers with pocket holes, to try to keep things as straight as I can. I didn't build a dedicated base for this. This base is actually a cherry base I put together 5 or 6 years ago. I'm not really sure why. I think maybe it was a workbench base at some point, really puny attempt, but over the years it has served as my router table base for my plywood with a hole in it. That has been my router table until now. Got the Freud FT 1700. Is that what it is? Yeah. 2 1/4 horsepower router, which is great because it offers above the table adjustments, spindle locking, bit changing, everything. I'll show you that in a minute. Fence, simple MDF fence with some bracing along the back and slots to accommodate the bolt driven through each corner of the table to allow for adjustment front and back. Pretty good range. Well, let's loosen that. There we go. It'll just cover the bit, and I'm not really concerned with going this far back. The only time I'd leave the fence on the opposite side of the bit like this is if I had a straight bit in it and I was cutting, for drawer, cutting grooves for drawer bottoms or something like that. But it was important to make it go back beyond my plate. So I'll show you the router plate now, which was the reason for the 1/4 inch lamination on top. Looked at Rockler, looked at other places for router plates, and just couldn't stomach spending $60 on one. So just built it as part of the lamination. 1/4 inch MDF. Just used the regular mounting screws that mount the traditional plastic base plate. Sized it so that it's only about 1 inch to 1.5 inches overhang on any side, because I wanted to minimize the possible sag. Also, left as much meat as I could here to still be able to get the router through to minimize sag, maximize support. I think it'll be fine. Saved $60, so I'm happy. So I'll show you the above table features now of this router. You've got a hole here that allows you to, let's talk about the one that unlocks the thing first. There, that'll unlock the travel. And you can raise or lower it. This thing kind of sucks though. So for raising and lowering a lot, I've repurposed this otherwise useless screwdriver. Really handy for getting it all the way to the top for bit changes and such. So there, got it all the way to the top. And this third hole is the spindle lock. You just crank it over, twist it till it locks. Actually, it's already locked, so now you can make your above table bit changes with just 1 wrench, which I love. I'm sure a lot of you have the Porter cable that requires the 2 wrenches that only stay together because I tied them together, and then it's awfully clumsy to try to use these 2 under the table. So I'm loving this router for the 1 wrench above table changing. So let's unlock the spindle. And send her back below the table. And of course I'd make fine adjustments with this knob as necessary. Make sure, final step, lock it back so that it won't move. Also on the back I've got this hole which allows me to take my dust collection off of my chop saw. Fits right in the back there. I can crank up my chop vac. Excellent amount of suction, so I'm happy with that. That's about it. I really just built the thing to go on this base. Didn't really pay much attention to the measurements, but I'll throw some out there if anybody's interested. 34 inches wide. I've got 20 inches deep. Fence is 6 inches tall here in the middle. Tapers down to 4 inches on each side. Of course, it's 34 inches long. I think it's 7 3/4 deep. Any other questions? Send me a message. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks.